It doesn't paint the entire picture. If you want to be fulfilled and you think that the job you had should fulfill you all the time, you're always going to be unhappy.
Yeah, always
going to be unhappy. If you go and find something that you really enjoy, good for you. But there's going to be things about it that you dislike.
I don't like either.
That's why this is gonna be the name of the episode. That's why Pretty Girl Shit 2 is the best advice.
Yeah,
because it at least in my opinion, because like we established, it could either elevate you or just bring everything into the same plane.
Yeah,
and it still leaves the responsibility on you.
Yeah.
It still puts
and you know what's crazy to me is it's like I've noticed that a lot of the people that have been complaining or that complain to me about these things or have brought these ideas up, it's all 1000% coming from a place of privilege, because at the end of the day, it has dawned on me, and I feel in part I was part of that group of people that was thinking like this for a really long time, because it was coming from a place of privilege of thinking it being, oh, it has to be what's going to make me happy, like, and it's always what I want as opposed to what it is that I need to do, if that makes any sense. It was always to me like, but I want to do this, but I want to be happy, but I want this, but I want that, and I want that, without thinking about the fact that it is quite literally very simple. You just have to do it. Like, it's literally like people who, and I think about it again, people who are not coming from a place of privilege don't get the luxury of saying, oh, but I don't want to do that. They're like, nah, G, I need money. I need to pay these bills. Like, I got to go work in the sun. My bad. Like, and there's no solution to this. Like, this is literally no way out. Like, oh, I want to be a painter. Shit, yeah. So does homie next to me. And what we gonna do? Nothing. We gonna go paint these walls is what we gonna do. So, like, to me, it didn't dawn on me for a really long time, because I do feel like it was very different compared to you, was raised with a sense of privilege with our parents. Like, they were like, you have the, like, you are American. You are, again, conventionally pretty girl. You are these things. You fit these criteria to where you don't have to worry about a lot of things. In fact, you are expected not to worry about a lot of things, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, again, in a lot of different aspects, but it was coming from a place of privilege. So once I took that away, and I was like, wait, no. Like, I gotta work for what I'm trying to do, and understand that it is a privilege of mine to say I want to work in something that I enjoy. But I can't just expect it to be easy. I can't expect it to just be a flowing, like I like the idea that I really thought was going to happen. Like, I genuinely at one point or another was like, I want to leave this job. I want to go get that job. That job's going to cure like everything. It's going to fix everything that's been happening wrong. When I did move to that job, I was like, this is not fixing it. Like, it's not fixing it. I was so much so, and it actually was the job that I have right now. I was like, I don't want this anymore. I wanted to leave my job after 3 months of working there, because in my mind, that solution, it didn't make sense to me why that solution wasn't there. And then the pandemic hit and everything happened in my life that just kind of threw me for a loop. And I was like, wait, that's not how this works. This is never how it was supposed to work. So my mentality of like, this is going to be the solution, that's all I need, thrown out the window, forgotten about. That doesn't exist anymore. And whenever I tell my friends or people that I know that are telling me these feelings that they have about their jobs, I'm like, hey, you got to look at it from outside of that privilege that you're looking at it from. Like, you have to pretend like you won't get what you want, like you've gotten what you wanted all your life. Like, because a lot of the people that tell me this are people who have just gotten what they wanted more often than not.
I've met a lot of people that are very successful that have always been very privileged. That have had, but the defining factor is that work ethic, and work ethic is born out of desire and liking what you do. If you find something that you genuinely enjoy, work ethic comes naturally. If you find I'm sorry. Work ethic comes from liking what you do or survival.
Yeah.
Those are the two options that I've noticed so far that really, really, really has a high functioning work ethic.
Yes.
If you have to survive, your work ethic is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Can be for the most part, right? But if you really, really like something, your work ethic is unstoppable
As
also,
well. Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. And this is why I'm saying, this is why I think it's a fallacy. If you believe that just finding something that you like is gonna
fix it,
is gonna have you doing things that you like all the time, then it's wrong. Because wrong. I mean, shit, like we have to set up this podcast. We have to think about what we're gonna do. We have to think about how we're gonna market it, and this and that, blah blah. There's all these things that come into the function of this. Most of the shit I hate.
Absolutely.
Most of the shit I hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in thinking about this venture, and this is gonna be a good segue. In thinking about this venture, a year ago, literally a year ago is whenever I had the idea for this podcast or this video show or whatever it's going to turn itself into, right? You take it in and you say, I think I'm going to like that more than whatever grunt work is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why it's a good segue. Because it's been almost an official year since I told the first person that I was like, I think I'm going to try to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a year ago when I said it and I gave the pitch, right? Like, this is, we always have these great conversations at bars when we're places or whatever. We always like talking. We always make friends. We always have some such engaging conversations. Let's try to harness that and put this into a forum or a platform that we can like really capitalize on or try to make something off of it, right? Since then it has evolved, right? Like the plans that we have currently for what this is going to be has shifted and turned and morphed itself into something a little bit more fluid, and it's turned itself to like we've gotten more ideas over like the things that we can do and the kind of engagement and how we can fuse a lot of different elements of what we like in our city and this and that we're trying to like really work on and trying to put together. But it's been a year since I told the first person I'm gonna try to make that happen. Yeah. So because of that, I want to do two things. I kind of want to talk about like the stages in which this has gotten here to prove the point that like you just gotta like it and be ready to go with the flow. And there's gonna be things about it that you don't like, but just you gotta like it enough. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was an inkling a year ago. I'm like, man, I think we could do it. I think it'll be fine. I've always debated as a filmmaker and as a photographer. I've always been like, man, should we do the YouTube thing? Should I do the YouTube? So like, should I do it? It's a lot of work and blah blah. And like, I didn't want to be like silly, and I didn't want to be like a trope of like what a YouTuber really is and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But this kind of came about. I'm like, okay, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Then I realized how expensive it would be. Yeah. Like upon like a month into like me trying to get everything together, I was all like, man, this is gonna be more expensive than I thought. It's either gonna be really expensive or I'm going to have to do a lot of work on the back end, on the editing. So then I was like, okay, let me try to figure out like the best place, right? So fast forward 6 months, the first week of January, so literally 6 months later, the first week of January, all the equipment came in. Yeah. And even then, I opened up all the equipment. I realized I was like trying to put things together, doing like test runs here in this room, like how I was going to put everything together. Realized I was still missing stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, fuck, we can't do our first episode right now, blah, blah.
I remember we were talking about the company itself, and we were literally just like, fuck, we still got to get this. I remember getting all of your emails.
So then it finally came up, right? I was spending more money. It finally came up. And at this point, not one episode has come out.
Yeah.
At this point, not one episode. At this point, we haven't talked about it once. I haven't done a logo. I haven't done photos. I had the name, but I hadn't done like concept. Like I hadn't done any kind of like brand cohesion or like this and that. I didn't have any like idea of how many things we were going to be, like what the kind of things we were going to talk about. I didn't know any of that. Absolutely any of that. But I knew that it was going to happen. And then our first episode came out in January. Mm-hmm. And it was okay. But afterwards, I was all like, okay, we've got room to grow. We've got room to get used to this and like this and that, blah, 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 right? And since then, like I said, it's morphed and it's switched, and now the ideas that we have are a lot more tangible, and we kind of have a much better idea of how to put it together, and we are very comfortable in front of a camera, and we've got like like some social media presence ish, like a little bit or whatever, and we've done officially 21 episodes. So we've done an episode a week. We've done 6 months worth of work, and on one end, it's a congratulations to all of us, right? And everybody that's been involved, right? But also, kind of, directly to camera one, it is a big thank you to anyone that's even viewed it, liked it, engaged with it, commented, bad, good, negative, positive, indifferent. Thank you, because, we've been learning on the go, on the move. And it proves the point that I was making earlier, how you do not have to be inspired to just do things.
Yeah.
The first 6 months of putting all of this together was all grunt work. It was all things that were tedious, that were annoying, a lot of reading, a lot of figuring out, like if what live production would be, a lot of right, like because before this the job experience that I had filmmaking and with video and photo had been on a very different side of that genre or that medium. So there's a lot of research, a lot of putting things together, a lot of research looking at other successful video podcasts or video shows or things like that, and like storyboarding, and then like big planning and this and that. Just goes to the point. We've had a great time sitting here laughing, talking shit, saying things and figuring things out. Some of it has been funny. Some of it has been really entertaining. Some of it's been very serious. Some of it's been all over the place, right? But it wouldn't have gotten there if at the beginning I would have been like, I'm not inspired.
Yeah.